Welcome to Off the Roster, brought to you by our founding partner, Proline. Betting on Proline is now easier than ever with their new app. Download it today and make things interesting. Thank you for joining us. That's Dan Riccio, our buddy Cabby, our third co-host. He's in Italy for the Winter Games, and I am in Los Angeles right now for the All-Star Game, where I will let everyone know I have not slept yet, and this is going to be an amazing show. Dan, how are you feeling today?
Well, I did sleep, so that's one up for me. Thank you very much. But also, I came to do the show today in minus 17 while you're in beautiful Los Angeles. So there is that. That's one for Lindsay. We'll see who gets score number 2 later on in the show.
It's always going to be you. You're always the winner at the end of the show. We all know this. Not winning was when I booked my itinerary. I did it so last minute and wasn't paying attention to see that I had a connecting flight in Denver, had some luggage issue, but we have a great show for you today. And I'm going to go on a tiny little rant, but first I want to tell everyone who's on the show. We have former MLB pitcher and former Toronto Blue Jay, Jay Jackson. We also have so many wonderful guests. We have Andy Bernstein, who is a longtime NBA photographer. He is in the Hall of Fame. If you've seen a photo or maybe you have one in your house of Kobe, Michael Jordan, even LeBron James, he's most likely taken the photo. We're obviously going to talk about the Winter Games. But yeah, Dan, I just want to let you know. So I self-inflicted had over a 13-hour travel day and had a bunch of issues along the way, which is fine. First world problem. But I'm going to sound like a jerk right now. So in the chat, you can absolutely light me up if you are not following along on YouTube right now underneath the Nation Network. So by the time I landed, did not sleep, over a 13-hour travel delay, had issues with my luggage, blah, 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 blah. Not mad. It's just one of those things where you're so tired you feel like you're having a fever dream. My Uber driver happened to be an aspiring actor who then decided to do
when in Los Angeles
skits from Harry. Yeah. Asked me about Harry Potter. I've not read the books, and I only saw one of the movies, which was the second to last movie. So I'm like, I don't know. It was terrifying, and I don't want to watch any more of this. So then he thought it would be a great time to do scenes from Harry Potter and have me critique them.
Of course. This is real. This is what actually happened.
I'm so mad to this moment. And then the sly guy, and I'm like humoring him like, oh, I'm like, that's amazing. I could never do what you do because I could not. I think acting is really hard when you have to do the same take over and over again, or like get super emotional or act like you care in some moments that you do not. I cannot fake it. And in that moment, I was trying so hard. I'm like, buddy, I don't give a crap about you trying to do whoever Snape or some Snake character guy. Like, what is going on in my life? And then he goes, and he's like, what's your husband's favorite character? And then like, oh, I don't think he likes Harry Potter because I'm so dumb. I didn't realize what he's doing. And he even admitted it. He's like, that was just my way of saying you're married. I'm like, what is happening right now?
And this is at like what, 3:30 in the morning in Los Angeles? Oh yeah, totally. This is totally fine. I'm sure you were like, well, I'm not making it to the hotel. This is great.
And it's one of these moments like, well, at least I have a tracking device on my phone. And best case scenario to all of this, I just learned a lot about Harry Potter and why Ron potentially is the worst character in the books. So if you have watched or read Harry Potter, is Ron the worst character? And Dan, if you don't know, let us know in the chat, because I'm telling you, that was top 5 weirdest Uber drive I've ever had, Uber experiences rather. And so we'll see what happens over the weekend, because I'm here for a couple of days for All-Star, but I had to wait until the show to say, hey, let me tell you about this top tier Uber experience I had. It's like the most LA thing possible, but hey, also smooth operator. I was oblivious to this. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'm the Uber driver, I'm probably rattling off some Wedding Crashers, impressions or something like that. Just going totally off the board. I don't know, but like Harry Potter, like I don't know if that's the play to try and impress somebody, but questionable to say the least.
Yeah, I'm not a Potterhead in any sense of that term. So. I love in the chat someone putting how traveling sometimes isn't fun. They were in a hotel where some young kids were just running up and down the hallways in the wee hours of the morning. I will take a Harry Potter conversation over there all day every day. have, Dan, is something that did not happen in 12 years. In the Winter Games, the biggest international hockey showdown, the best players, we finally were able to see the NHL players back on the ice. As a hockey nerd and a huge fan, what was your reaction just finally seeing the NHL players being able to participate in the Olympics again?
Well, this is exactly what an all-star game should look like. We never get like all-star games are obviously like, oh, look at these crazy teams are all together, and but then you get to the all-star game and it's like, well, yeah, it's just an exhibition. Nobody really is playing the game the way that it is meant to be played. This is just shinny hockey with the best players in the world, and then you get to a situation like this where it's best on best, and unfortunately for Czechia, their best is nowhere near Canada's best. And Canada is just doing the most crazy stuff. Guys are all over the ice. McDavid had 14 scoring chances. Czechia had 12. I mean, this is the best players in the world in a spot where they're playing alongside the other best players in the world, and they get to truly showcase their abilities. I mean, it just puts the game on another level, and getting to see it again, knowing that the players are up for it, they're as excited as we are for this very moment. Um, that's what makes it so special. And yesterday, getting to see that again, it's like the reminder of like, oh yeah, Olympic hockey can just be something. It's what we want hockey to always be, but it can't be because the talent is so spread out across the National Hockey League.
Dan, I'm going to let you know a fun thing. Do I currently sound like I'm underwater still?
No, you sound great.
Okay. Every once in a while, there's some fun things with this. The technology just being like, hey, I don't like your mic. But what I do love is us talking about, like what you were just talking about, the NHL players being back in the Olympics. It is such a magical moment. I'll never forget where I was when Sid the Kid scored that golden moment. But when we actually go to the stats and the interesting things about the game, Canada winning 5-0, McDavid just having a fantastic game. Take us through kind of, I'm going to say, the nerd alert moments and all the stats that you liked from their performance.
Well, I loved everything about it. Like you can look through the entirety of the lineup and be like, yeah, nobody really had a bad game. Everybody played their role to a T. The only bad thing that came out of it is a Josh Morrissey injury. Jordan Binnington was fantastic. All the like Macklin Celebrini is a 19-year-old playing for Team Canada at the Olympics. Fantastic. Tom Wilson, question marks about him. He was putting guys through walls. He, played the IIHF line really well, was careful about the hits that he threw, but still was able to be physical at the same time. And then your best players were absolutely that. Cale Makar put on a show. Nathan McKinnon scored, and Connor McDavid was just all over the ice. I think with McDavid, for as much as he's all about winning, as we found out in that Players Tribune piece, it kind of felt like he understood the moment, or that he was up for the moment. Like he was everywhere on the ice. He was hitting guys too. It was what the what McDavid can be when he is absolutely at his best and surrounded by incredible talent. But it feels like to me, especially with that Players Tribune piece, he understands what this tournament means for him and his legacy as a hockey player. He's come oh so close to a Stanley Cup 2 years running, hasn't gotten it across the line. And every generational player that this game has seen has eventually won a Stanley Cup. Sid did it. Ovi did it. Mario Lemieux, all those guys. McDavid doesn't have his yet. And this could be his piece, the part of his legacy that he knows he needs to have in order to be on that pedestal with the other greats of all time in hockey history. And so it feels like he understands the assignment. He had the Four Nations goal last year, great, but Four Nations ain't the Olympics. And McDavid just seems like a man on a mission. That's at least what I saw through that first game.
What did you think of Celebrini time?
It's crazy, like, that he's 19 years old and he's just like, yeah, one of the guys, right? I mean, look at this stat that people were pulling up yesterday. Scored in his USHL debut, and his NCAA debut, his NHL debut, and now his Olympic debut. Like, could you be any better as a 19-year-old playing in the National Hockey League and playing amongst the best players in the game?
What were you doing at 19 that you think was top tier?
Yeah, nah,
Appropriate
nothing
for
good.
this.
No, nothing good. I was taking bad pictures with Zdeno Chara. That's what I was doing.
You brought it up, not me. Legendary moment in off the roster history. Just go back and watch every episode if you do not know what Dan is talking about. Uh, Obviously, there's some storylines surrounding this game. We had a bit of an injury, and I'm wondering, like, do I need to be freaking out?
Well, Josh Morrissey is a big part of this team. Thomas Harley actually, stepped up big time in his absence. And that was maybe something that was a bit of a question mark coming into the tournament. Harley hasn't had a great season to this point with the Dallas Stars. Maybe a lot of people wanted Matthew Schaefer to have that spot on the roster, and it's obviously not going to happen because Canada can't bring another player to the tournament. Now that the tournament has started, your rosters are your rosters. Injuries be damned. So Travis Sanheim is likely to come into the lineup for Josh Morrissey, and Canada's going to have to do it without him. This is the only negative of yesterday's game, but given what Canada has on the back end, I think they'll be all right.
And then there's a lot of talk about Binnington. We've had a lot of conversations about Binnington being between the pipes. And I thought it was interesting, some of the conversation happening on different shows and within, the online community. The fact that, he had the shutout yesterday. People are like, some people saying this is the worst outcome for the Team Canada roster because it's just going to mean that he's going to play in net again. But come on, one, you have the head coach giving him the confidence of wanting him to have the start. And then two, the confidence of getting that win and continuing to go on. I don't actually understand this discourse right now. I think there's just a lot of haters. And yes, I understand the stats that he has within the NHL right now for the season are not great. They're pretty bad. But when you look at those big moments when it's been in the Stanley Cup or when you look at the Four Nations, he has stepped up in those big moments. So I'm curious about the mentality shift that we're going to see from him over the next couple of weeks. But when you kind of see that discourse and how he played yesterday, are you surprised by that? And what was your thoughts of how he played?
He was perfect. He was the shutout kind of shows that. And Canada, that was maybe the one part of the game. Like in the first, you could kind of feel their nerves a little sloppy, and getting used to it. Everybody super excited, adrenaline to 11 on the ice, and Jordan Binnington had to come up with a couple of big saves. And Canada, once they settled down, he didn't have to do as much later on, but Binnington did his job. And we talked to Kevin Woodley, the goalie guru, the other day here on the show, and he talked about Binnington's ability to play the puck. And Canada's disallowed goal in the first period, if you watch it back, that whole sequence starts because of the way Jordan Binnington is able to play the puck. And on this smaller rink, with the way that the boards are, the hard rims coming around, it's that much more difficult, maybe even that much more imperative that you have a goalie that can handle the puck well. Binnington isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Nobody's putting him at the top of their power rankings list of goalies in this tournament, but he seems to just be the right fit for this Canadian team. And after what he did yesterday, how John Cooper speaks of him, how his teammates have confidence in him back there, given what he did last year at the Four Nations. At this point, I don't think there's any way he can be unseated as Canada's starting goalie for the rest of the tournament.
You hold on. Talk that talk. I feel when I yell, that is when my mic goes crazy. So I'm not going to yell a lot during the mic, which is great. But we also have a nerd alert moment. Again, just so many interesting moments and storylines surrounding the Winter Games in Canada. And obviously the men's team, they're back in action tonight, this afternoon, taking on Switzerland, where you are going to be part of a call because you don't like to sleep and you constantly like to work. So I'm going to let you give the promo for what's happening on Daily Faceoff.
Well, Canada, Switzerland today, just after 3 o'clock, and on the Daily Faceoff YouTube channel, we'll be getting in on the post-game show. I will be joining Tyler Yaremchuk for the Daily Faceoff Canada post-game show today. So we'll be fired up. Switzerland is not like an easy opponent. If there's one like sort of underdog team that makes me queasy, it's always the Swiss. I think back to 20 years ago, Torino and Martin Gerber making 49 saves felt like 49 million, to be honest. But and the Swiss won that game 2-0 over Canada, and what's looked back on as the worst of the NHLers at the Olympics for Canada in 2006, when it was just a complete gong show. They went wrong at every single corner, and that Swiss game was won. But there's been other moments where the Swiss just seem to have Canada's number. Not all the time, but if there's one team that can pull the underdog upset, it seems like the Swiss have been the one to do it against Canada. And you look at their roster, Nico Hischier, Roman Josi, they've got some star players, some game breakers. This is not going to be a walk in the park for Canada. They're going to need to be as good as they were yesterday to make sure they get the dub again.
Speaking of dubs, did you see what happened in short track speed skating yesterday?
I absolutely did. Another medal for Canada. And I got to say, like, the speed skating has been pretty good for Canada. We're whacking up and we usually do in speed skating, but I just feel like you brought the good vibes to the speed skating squad, Linz. I'm giving you a little bit, not a lot of credit, because at the end of the day, it's the athletes getting the job done. But you brought the good vibes. They were like, man, we are way better than normal humans. So let's go and win some medals. And after they saw you skating, they absolutely have gone and done that in Italy.
You are welcome, Canada. You are welcome to the short speed track team. It's not like you guys already had the most medals when it came to the Olympics. I love saying weddles instead of medals. It's just a thing, especially when we have no sleep. But yeah, I just said that because I wanted the credit, because I fully believe that Cordy Sorrell getting bronze in the 500 women's speed skating is all credit to me. I'm just kidding. They were amazing, but I think I did give them confidence because they're like, hey, she looks like a drunk penguin or drunk giraffe on those skates. So I think we picked the right career, and maybe she almost did. But when I was in Montreal, I actually spoke to Courtney about she was injured about a month going into the winter games, and it's because she over prepared. And it's kind of the exact opposite of everything we hear in sports, how you want to train so that you peak when it is that moment where you need to accelerate to get the gold, whatever it may be. In most sports, that's what we hear, but it was the exact opposite. So they were resting for a couple weeks going into the winter games, and when ultimately she won her second bronze medal so far of the Olympic Games. Here's a little moment from our conversation.
It's really, in our sport, there's a lot of, you build your muscle up and you build your strength, but then you're supposed to release a little bit by little bit, so you have the perfect peak at the perfect time. And our sport is all about like trying to figure out what to do to get to your maximum peak at the time that someone says to be at your maximum peak. So right now we're in that preparation, and I'm just having to listen to my body a little bit more, because even like the program is telling me that I should be skating maybe a little bit more laps or doing things like that, but some days I feel like my energy isn't really where I want it to be. So in the past I've overdone it, and just because it was on the plan. So it's really important, for as much as we have a plan to follow, and it's good and it's number based, we're all humans at the end of the day, and some days we handle a load a little bit different than other days. So I've just been listening to my body and trying to let that lead the way. And when I do that and I listen to myself, and it makes me feel confident, and I don't really mind missing a set here and there if I know, like, in my heart and in my soul that this is going to be the best thing for my body.
What you do on the ice is complicated. It is intense. It happens fast. You guys are fast. You are elite. When, as people at home who don't understand a lot of what's going on, what is something we should be looking for?
That's a good question, actually.
Sometimes I have them.
Yeah, you're pretty good. Something you guys would be looking for is I think people just assume that in our sport we're just skating in circles and there's not really much to it than skating in circles, but there's so much strategy, and where you place yourself at the start of the race versus just like the little moves that you do is all strategy based, and different people have different strategies. There's people that rest in the back and don't do as much during the whole race to hopefully save their energy and outpower everyone at the end. And then there's some people that just go all in from the start of the that's me. All in from the start of the race and just try and battle it out. So there's a lot more strategy, and I think it's once you kind of understand that, it's really fun to watch, and the decision making is in split seconds, and sometimes in our sport, because it happens so fast and everything's going on at once, if you hesitate or wait like 1 second too long, your whole opportunity window is kind of over. And even when you want to do something at top speed, it's not as easy to do the moves as, you're watching and you're like, oh, you should go now, you should pass inside, but it all needs to be prepared, and you need to have the legs for it, and you need to have the right track for it. So there's a lot more to short track than I think just skating in circles.
There's so much to it. So when you're on the ice and you're not just skating in circles, there's all that strategy going on, all of the preparation you went into it. Does any of the competitors, do you guys say anything to each other ever, or is it just silence and you just hear the blades going?
Yeah, I think it's a sport that you have to be 100% locked into, and it's very stimulating. So I feel not everyone has a lot of time to think about something to say, and if you do say something, it's because you're not engaged in the race. So actually, I do find short track a pretty respectful sport as well. People aren't really saying anything to each other while we race. That would be like a whole other game. Maybe after the race there's some words exchanged, but normally we're pretty good for that because you're so locked in and you're so focused that there's not really time to say too much.
You know what I like seeing from you after the race? The iconic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lift the arms up with the number 1. Perfect, Selly. Maybe I'll work on a special celebration for the games or something. Who knows? Maybe I have something in my back pocket.
Amazing.
What a champ. She
Olympic medalist, 2-time Olympic medalist just at these games.
Amazing moment for the conversation was longer. We'll have more up on Off the Roster's YouTube throughout the next couple of days, because she spoke about, being so close to almost winning a medal next time or last time. And now the fact that she already has 2, I'm so happy for her. That entire organization is full of great people. And I'm excited to see that they've been able to excel on the ice, which again, it's really tough. But we're going to talk about some Blue Jays news, and then we'll talk to former Blue Jay and MLB pitcher Jay Jackson. But there was some breaking news in the Jays world. I know a lot of Roomies fans upset today, but it's been reported and then confirmed by the Toronto Blue Jays that they've acquired outfielder Jesus Sanchez from the Houston Astros for outfielder Joey Loperfido. So Joey's time with the Blue Jays, maybe for now, it's over. He was on 6-inning stretch, the other podcast I had with former Blue Jay and MLB player Whit Merrifield about 2 weeks ago, talking about, playing with the Blue Jays organization, how he's always going to have that run with him for the rest of his life, and surrounding in trade rumors, the fact that he was for the last couple of months, he's like, it's out of your control, and all you know is what happens, you just take that moment and make the best of it what you can. So what are your thoughts on this move that happened in Blue Jays land?
Yeah, he's going back to the Houston Astros. Jays get a power lefty bat. Ross Atkins already saying they're going to insert him right into the lineup to play against righties and hopefully mash righties. This is something that helps the Jays more for this year, maybe giving up a little bit of the upside in Joey Loperfido's bat. But it's an interesting one, to say the least. I think there's a lot of people that are going to say, well, Dave Popkins can get the best out of Jesus Sanchez, who's got a lot of pop in his bat. And hopefully the Jays can rediscover that for him, because he was promising earlier in his career, and it's kind of tailed off a little bit. We'll see if they can get more out of Jesus Sanchez this year. It's an interesting one, but clearly shows that the Jays are focused on doing everything they can to maximize their roster for this season and trying to build off that World Series appearance last year.
I've been lucky in my time covering the Toronto Blue Jays to meet people like Joey Loperfido, a wonderful person, hilarious sense of humor. And our next guest is also somebody that I was really happy I had the chance to interview and get to know back in 2023 when he was on the roster. And that is Jay Jackson, who joins the program now. Thank you for joining us, sir. Good morning to you.
What's up, Jay?
Hey, guys. Hey.
We have so many questions for you, but I have to ask, because your story when you were with the Toronto Blue Jays, you were getting those moments on the mound. Everyone was rooting for you, but obviously your son at the time was born 15 weeks premature, and the story kind of captivated the world, how you were going to the neonatal intensive care unit, I believe in Salt Lake, and then, you're going back and forth to playing all these games. How is the little man doing?
He's actually upstairs right now with his mom and grandparents. We're in Utah right now still. So he's up there. He goes to daycare 3 days a week. He's enjoying it. He's unfortunately, but I guess blessed and fortunate that all he does and talk about now is baseball. Like from the time he wakes up in the morning to when he goes to sleep, he just grabs his bat and his first word is literally baseball every morning. So it's a blessing. I think it's from, the environment he was in, all the support and love I got from the Toronto fans and prayers and everything. He's probably going to hopefully be the next Blue Jay in our family. So it's looking promising right now.
We love to hear that. Well, love to hear that he's doing great in the family. Great. And when it comes to spring training, obviously pitchers and catchers reported this week. Your career and story within MLB, unique. You grinded it out. So many people listening to what you have to say now as you continue to be a mentor and coach. But what was spring training camps like for you over the years? Because it's a lot different story than you'll say here from other pitchers.
It varied throughout the years, I would say, just for the different places I was in. And as my career kind of went, longer and longer, I was just more blessed to be at spring training every spring and wondering if I was going to get a job to be there, especially my last couple, not with the Blue Jays, but after that with the Twins, hearing really late, even with the Blue Jays, hearing kind of late from them, just wondering what was going to happen. So at the beginning of the career, you just kind of look at it as excitement and you get to play baseball for a living and everything's just really exciting for you. But as you understand the business and the behind the scenes and you understand that it's a job, it becomes more of a blessing and just trying to fight and grind to make sure you're there to not only have fun, but to provide for your family and the people around you.
I'm curious, Jay, do you have a story of just like how freaking good major league players are? Because for us average Joes, it can look easy sometimes on television, but was there a hey, I'm in the show kind of moment that you had in your career?
I think every day that I was there was that moment, because just different things happen every day for just to see these guys. I mean, I was teammates with, Vladdy, Bo, over the years, Josh Hader, Devin Williams, Kristen Yelich, just guys everywhere. Early in my career, I was teammates with Matt Kemp, Justin Upton, BJ Upton, James Shields. So you see these guys and you see them put in the work every day, and just some of the things that they do just day to day just amazes you, because normal people, average people, just even myself being a big leaguer, I was like, I can't do these things. So it's just, every day is a big league moment. But I think my most moments were, I don't even think it was in the big leagues. I think it was in the minors in AAA. I had a guy hit a ball off me so far that he had rehabbed from the big leagues. I was like, oh, this is what big leaguers really hit. It was one of my first years in the minors. I was like, oh, I guess I got to get a lot better. But as far as being in the big leagues over the years, I think once I got comfortable and to the point that I was a big leaguer, just enjoying the moments there and then realizing the guys around me, no, this isn't normal, but at the same time, it's literally a day-to-day thing where these guys are competing against each other to pretty much see who's better than each other. And it just becomes this amazing feat day after day. Like the balls that Vladdy hits during BP, you see guys try to match Vladdy. It's unbelievable. You can't. You see, again, I'll go back to the home run Aaron Judge hit off me in 2023 from the tipping incident, right? That ball was hit a mile long. Normal people aren't going to hit balls that far, right? So he's a big leaguer. He's Aaron Judge. That's kind of the things that are supposed to happen. But, those things happen. It's a day-to-day thing, just showing you how, advanced these guys are. And it goes back to, everybody's putting so much emphasis on the analytics to try to make these things better, where I think mentally you realize how good these guys are when you start talking to them and sitting down. Kind of one of the main reasons I created, my mentorship program is, you have all the analytics now and guys see that, but to become a true big leaguer, be in the minor leagues, go through these grinds is definitely a whole mindset behind it. And I feel like we're losing a little bit of that throughout the years right now, where you don't see as many former players helping these guys and mentoring these guys come through. So I think that's the level of, amazement that guys can get, is like, you have to be able to understand from people that played it before to see how amazing these guys are and truly understand.
Yeah, and that's got to be tough for players that are developing in the game. Is like, you may be the best player at your level right now, but there's always going to be a better level or somebody that is better than you, except for like maybe the very small few that are ultimately at the major league level. And it's got to be, you got to go through those moments, I guess, as a developing player. How have you seen that now that you're kind of into that side of things, the coaching and mentorship side of just how players deal with continuously trying to get to that next level?
I think that's really why I've created and got the guys with me that I have to create the app and mentorship program that I am creating, the business I am creating, is because you see a lot of guys now, the hires that organizations are making aren't necessarily former players, where, guys, I don't want to say that they're capped, but to have somebody that's been there before kind of helps you break through ceilings that you can't necessarily break through if you don't have a mentor that's been there before to help you. So going forward, I think that these guys need former players, former mentors like myself, like guys that they see in the big leagues to help them as coaches, but not only as teammates, to get to that next level. Because you can have all the analytics in the world, but if you go 0 for 20, guys that necessarily are your coaches, and there's no disrespect to those guys that are your coaches, can be like, oh, well, it's the analytics and it's these numbers, but necessarily it's not the numbers. It's the mentality. Things might be going on off the field. Things might be going on the field. And the guys that are coaching you don't understand necessarily those intricacies to help you go through them. And then with the organizations, it's based on numbers now, where things might be going on off the field, and then a guy gets released and now he's upset and now he doesn't put his best foot forward, not only for the organization the rest of his time, but the next organization or even in his life. So I think it's those grinds and those hurdles. You need people there for you that have been through it to kind of coach you through there, to get the mentality and your mindset to be better and work through them, and not just be like, hey, like, it's just a one-off thing and I just wasn't good at this time.
Thank you for answering every question I pretty much had following up to that, because the mentality part of this is such a huge moment. But all I hear so many times for young pitchers is people bringing up like stats and analytics about velocity and that, and then constantly getting in their head, which makes me a little bit terrified for the up and coming pitchers and how that could impact them. But when we look at people already in the league, like say a Trey Savage, and you see the debut that he had, as somebody that, played in the bigs, when you look at a player like him, what is the potential that you see?
It's through the roof, right? You see it's his first year, comes up and he does exactly what he probably himself envisioned doing, but even more than he thought his wildest dreams would come true, is pitching in the World Series as well as he did, pitching as many times as he did, being in those situations to help the team, get over that hurdle and be the face of that rotation pretty much for the next, hopefully 10 years, right? I wouldn't say that Cease is the face, but you got to bring Trey as the face of that. Like, Cease is going to be there and guys are going to be there to be their mentor, be his mentor, but he's got to be, after that appearance and just build on the confidence from that and just keep going forward, that he sees that he can dominate and completely, be a Cy Young, be a World Series champion at this point, and the sky's the limit for him. I think that as long as he stays the course, keeps believing in himself, finds the people around him, the good support system that he has, and the Blue Jays do have a great support system top to bottom there, that, he doesn't have a ceiling, honestly, at this point for me.
You spoke a little bit about the mentorship and coaching and how important it is also for people and young pitchers and pitchers at any level to speak to somebody like you and have it not be so analytic focused, but somebody that's been through there and help go through the mental grind. And you did go through the MLB Scout and Coaching Development Program. When you look at kind of what is happening with some of the younger players, is there kind of a trend maybe when it comes to mistakes that's not the mental game, not analytics, like they're trying to either push or throw too hard, or they're only worried about this kind of stat? Like, is there something or a trend or maybe not you're seeing with some of the younger pitchers?
I think that trend goes to the coordinators in the front offices, because I did go through that program in the team I shadowed. And there's no disrespect to those guys there, but just listening to them, the coaches I was with, none of them, except for the hitting coaches and the manager, had been at a major league level. But none of them have gone through that enough. And I heard them talking about the kids and listening to them, is that's kind of the trend that is going. Is like guys have to throw harder to get outs, where that's not necessarily the case. Where if you know the game's okay. Guy will play ball.
I think we lost Jay, unfortunately.
That is all right. Well, not all right, but technology is not the best thing at the moment. We'll thank him. I'm not sure if we're going to try to see if his connection is stable right now. But uh, Nick, if you're watching and you see that it becomes a little bit more stable, just put him back up in the 3 box. But it's just interesting. You see this kind of in any sport, whether it be analytics or parents or whatever, trying to push them and also be a one sport kind of athlete, and it's interesting. So Jay, if you would like to continue your moment. Sorry, technology is fun, but there's a chance. Yeah, if you want to pick up where you were speaking.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I think just the weather's getting kind of choppy over here a little bit. But no, I was saying, like, I think it's just the trend from the top to the bottom for like organizations. They're focusing so much on analytics and spin rate and how hard guys throw instead of just getting outs. I think at the end of the day, if the front offices and the guys that they're hiring are former players that have been through it, I think you're going to see the pitchers trust themselves more, have more confidence. I think I saw it with the guys that I coached last year in the MLB Draft League. They literally told me over the 3 months that I had with them, and some people know how the Draft League is. I literally have 2 teams, 2 separate pitching staffs over that time. I heard from both staffs that they learned and developed more from me than they have in the past few years because of just my expertise and them listening to me, and because I had gone through the game and I gave them kind of things that they haven't thought of before, because people that haven't been there can't give them that same knowledge. And it's not always about the spin rate, the velocity, how much this ball moves. It's about the situations where you can get a guy out, what his swings look like that whole game compared to everything else. So I think it's not just, the younger pitchers worrying about it. It's literally from the coordinators and the front offices and how the game's shifting, that it's telling them that that's what they should be looking at, instead of just trusting themselves, building themselves to be the best versions of themselves as pitchers or players, and using that to go get out. Because you get out, you go to the World Series. And if you go to the World Series, you have more chances to win. If you win the World Series, I think organizations see that if you win the World Series, you make more money. And I think that's what the owners are looking for at the end of the day. So it's literally not the highlight so much, but it's winning games to make the fans want to be there and have good baseball.
Yeah, and I think we kind of saw a little bit of gut feel sort of play out in the World Series. Like Yamamoto pitching in Game 6, throws 6 innings, then it's like, you know what, we're just going to throw him out again in Game 7, and he's going to throw another 2 2/3. And it was like, from a pitcher's point of view, just how crazy is that to throw on back-to-back days after starting Game 6 and then come in and throw almost another 3 innings in Game 7?
As a pitcher, you're not going to do that on a normal basis, right? You're never going to do that during the regular season. But for the World Series, as a pitcher, you try to throw as much as you can and try to be there to help your team, especially if you're the hottest pitcher and you are and you feel it. As long as you're healthy, you have 3 months to rest after this, so it doesn't matter. As long as you're able to go, you're going to go. I mean, I remember times like what he did was unbelievable. You see what Mad Bum did for the Giants playoff runs throughout the years. Yeah. You see starters do it all the time. Jack Flaherty did it before. A lot of guys. I did it when I've been in the playoffs throughout my whole career in just different places: Mexico, Venezuela, the Caribbean series when I was a reliever, and even when I was in Japan. Just those different places. Like if they ask you to throw and you're able to go, to try to win a championship, you're going to go. You know, you see Drake May in the Super Bowl, shoulders jacked up. He's like, shot it up and I'm out there. You know, it's the last chance, and you never know when you're going to have a chance to ever be in a World Series again, let alone win one. Unlike the Dodgers, I guess, where they're in it every year right now. But, you know, I think that's a testament to their organization as well. They have a bunch of former players that are guiding these guys, and a lot of guys want to go there to play for them. You know, I was saying that in another podcast I was in. They want to go there, but you see it, they want to win championships. Cody's going there. All these guys are going there now just because they have a chance to win a championship. And then when you get to the World Series, all things are off the table at that point. It's, okay, are you good? Do you feel good? Can you give us an inning? Can you give us a pinch hit? Like Kirk Gibson in the World Series couldn't run, hits a homer. You know, just when it comes to that level and that time of the year, everything else is out the window except for I'm going to go give my team the best chance they have to win, and hopefully my best is enough to get us through that.
Man, we could listen to you talk all day. We probably could ask you 100 more questions, but we appreciate your time today. I know we'll have you on again in the future. It's always nice to see you. Thank you so much for your time today, Jay.
Oh, thank you. Guys, one thing too is just I'm launching my baseball mentorship app on Monday. It's going live. It's called the Smile Zone. So if you know any baseball players, any family, friends, or anybody that would love to have mentors from get lessons from former MLB and MILB players, Smile Zone will be active on Monday. I'm the founder and the lead, but the curriculum is definitely based off of my book that's up there, and it's nothing but positivity and happy vibes and supportive community for everybody that's going to be involved.
SMILE. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much. We'll make sure to link to your socials. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Jay.
Absolutely amazing human being that is former MLB pitcher and former Blue Jay, Jay Jackson. We're going from one great to another because I'm just going to read the intro I wrote for this because it's so long and I honestly couldn't give all of his highlights because we don't have enough time. He's known to many in the sports world as the GOAT photographer. I'm calling him Andy because I want to be his best friend. He's a legendary photographer, recognized as the longest tenured league and team photographer for the Lakers and Clippers. He's renowned for capturing iconic images of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and numerous NBA moments that have happened in over 3, 4, 5, all of the decades. He's just been everywhere all the time and co-host of one of my favorite podcasts, that of course being Legends of Sports. And oh, guess what? He's also in the Hall of Fame. Andy, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Andy. Hey, how are you guys?
Doing well.
Great to see you.
Great. Oh, it's so nice to see you. I am in your lovely city right now where it's 7:42 a.m. So thank you for being on here early. I am not a morning person, so thank you again for that. You got the LA 26 shirt on. We'll get to that in a moment. But as somebody who has so many iconic photos that are in galleries, they're in pretty much every stadium around even the world as inspiration. Do you like getting your own photo taken?
I've gotten better at it. I have 4 kids, so it's hard to avoid, and it's great to go on vacation and only have to bring an iPhone, you don't have to bring a cumbersome camera. And my daughter, my youngest, was taking photos before she could walk. I mean, she knew how to scroll, she knew how to edit, then of course with social media and everything else. So I've reluctantly accepted the fact that I have to be in a photo every once in a while. Yeah.
Well, you're going to be taking a lot of photos again this weekend. You've covered iconic NBA Game 7 finals moments, championships, so many all-star games. But what is it like trying to capture the essence of an all-star game? Because for me, it just seems like absolute chaos.
Well, I got to correct you. I'm sorry, but I am not shooting this weekend because I am retired off the court.
Sorry, yes. You'll be celebrated this weekend.
You thought I might be making a comeback, like Michael Jordan did or whatever, but not doing it. But I am here to support and help my fellow photographers from NBA Photos. We're about to enter the 40th anniversary of NBA Photos, which is amazing. And All-Star Weekend was always a challenge, I have to say. There's so much going on, different venues, different situations that all of us have to be in that are a little bit different than our normal routine. So it was fun, but I think I did 38 All-Stars going back to 1983.
Mhm.
So I'm good. I'm good now.
Sorry, I knew that you were retired because I spoke to you before, but I mean, like, we're celebrating you and your photos this weekend. So, Dan,
Yeah,
take it away.
you're trying to get me back. I know, Lindsay. I got it.
This is well, you didn't take this photo, but this is from the 2016 All-Star Game in Toronto. I guess behind the scenes with Kobe Bryant, if Nick can bring it up. This photo at the All-Star Game in Toronto. How exactly did this photo happen?
Asked to take off that All-Star weekend in 2016. I had worked, I don't know how many straight, 32, 33. And my family and I had planned a vacation to South America. My wife's from Argentina. We had, had the tickets, the whole thing. And then in November, the Mamba decided that he was going to retire after the 2015-16 season. So my boss at the NBA called and said, well, I know you have other plans, but would you mind coming to Toronto to shoot All-Star Weekend? And could you get yourself embedded with Kobe for the weekend and sort of document his last All-Star? So I went literally from the beach in Uruguay, where it was about 95 degrees, to you remember that All-Star Weekend? It was about minus 30. I mean, literally, it was the coldest I'd ever. I grew up in New York. And it was actually, I mean, it was crazy. But I spent the entire weekend with him in his hotel room, preparing in the locker room. And I very, very rarely ask for photos with any of the guys. But, there was such a historic moment being his final All-Star game that I handed my camera off to one of my cohorts from NBA Entertainment. I said, you mind snapping one of these for me? And I have maybe 3 or 4 of Kobe and I together. I think I might have maybe one with Magic. But it was such a love fest for Kobe that weekend. And the guys, every single guy, all the coaches, the fans, of course, they celebrated his incredible career. I mean, the guy went from a 17-year-old rookie to, a 5-time champion, gold medalist, the face of the league. It was a beautiful, beautiful tribute to him, and he was so touched. I mean, you could just tell every moment he was savoring it because he knew it was his last one.
Is it? I mean, I did some research. Was going through some things last night, and I read a story. Is it true that Kobe had asked you to take photos of Vince Carter when he was with the Raptors to get intel on his practice habits and preparations and his pregame warmups? Is this true?
That is actually true. The story goes that that in Vince's rookie year, there's a lot of hype for Vince, as we all remember, and rightly so. And the NBA sent me to Toronto. They're like 3 games in a row or something that the Raptors were home. So I missed a couple of games with the Lakers. And they were also at home at that time. So, I spent a lot of time documenting Vince, his routines. And I got some stuff, I think, in the training room. And I got, some pretty good access. So I get back to what was then Staples Center at the next game, and Kobe calls me over during pregame warmups, and he said, "Hey man, you sick or something? Like I hadn't seen you the last couple of games." And I said, "Well, the NBA sent me to Toronto, and they wanted me to kind of follow Vince and document." And Kobe looked me right in the face. He says, "You saw Vince's workout routine? What does he do? What's his thing? How does he do this? How does he do that?" I mean, he literally grilled me. And I said, dude, I was trying to pay attention to what I'm shooting. But he was so, this is the Mamba. I mean, this was him gleaning every piece of information from anywhere he could possibly get it. And I told Vince that story on my podcast last year when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And he just laughed. He said, you know what? I wouldn't put it past him. That's the guy I knew. And, they became great friends. They were rivals. I think there was some tremendous competitive spirit between the two of them. But at the end of the day, there was so much love between them. And I saw that. It was beautiful.
This photo here, 26 years ago now, the dunk contest that Vince,
No,
I guess became Air Canada. I mean, that to me, that was the one that put the Raptors on the map. And at the time it put the dunk contest back on the map because it wasn't a thing before Vince, made it relevant again. And now we're kind of back towards the dunk contest not having the same cachet that it used to. What do you remember of that night and the way that it just all transpired, where Vince just captivated the entire basketball audience?
Yeah, for sure. Well, the dunk contest, I have to say, was the most stressful moment, like assignment of the year. I mean, NBA finals or whatever, the dunk contest, literally you get one shot at every dunk because we use this system of strobes, and you can see these bright lights on the far side of this photo. Those are the strobes, the big flashes going off, and they only go off one time. So you get one picture. It's not a motor drive sequence. You can't like pull one frame out of like 12 in a row. So you gotta, and I don't know what he's going to do, quite frankly. So we set up a series of remote cameras, and this one happens to be a camera that's planted at the bottom of the stanchion, looking straight up. But there's probably 12, 15 cameras recording this moment in time, and I was positioned on the baseline, and you just have to be locked in and have a sixth sense, quite frankly. I mean, I missed some good dunks over the years, but I always prided myself in getting the moment as best I could, even going back to Dominique Wilkins and Michael. And this year, I just saw yesterday on social media, this year's the 40th anniversary of Spud Webb's dunk in Dallas in 1986, which blew the roof off the building. No one in the building could believe that this guy was actually going to dunk. I mean, and I know we're getting away from Vince for a second, but it just brought back so much memories when I saw that yesterday. And Dominique his teammate was in the dunk contest. Literally, we all thought Dominique was going to come and pick him up to dunk. And this guy, 5'3", 5'4", I mean, he just kept going and going and going. And I don't know, some sixth sense of me said, just wait. And I actually got him at the apex of the dunk. But Vince's dunk, through the legs, one of the greatest dunks in NBA history, obviously. And we do have a motor drive sequence of that shot by the great Garrett Elwood, one of my dear friends and my former assistant, longtime photographer of the Denver Nuggets, who has that whole sequence of Vince bringing the ball around, going between the legs, bringing it up, dunking. So it's rewarding for us as a group that 7 or 8 of us are shooting that same moment from different angles, possibly different lighting, and what we come away with really documents a historic moment. A dunk like that, it doesn't get any better than that for us.
When you talk about those historic moments and how you sometimes may miss them, or you have that split second and you get it, and you it's just such a moment that will live on for history, that ends up on shirts, on billboards, wherever it may be. People use as inspiration. From your entire time covering the NBA, was there a photo that you almost missed that now is just this iconic moment?
Hey, oh, you're killing me with that question. There's a photo I missed. There's some photos
Almost
I got,
missed.
and there's almost missed, and then I actually got
Not
it. Is
missed.
that what you said?
Yeah. I'm not asking if you missed anything. I'm not a jerk. I was like,
Yeah.
almost
Well,
missed. You have to run, you capture it.
yeah, I'm at the point where I can actually talk about the ones I missed. I went many, many years where I couldn't talk about it, but there are photos that come out of nowhere that you can't believe, like what you just saw. I mean, I'm going back to the days, Dominique, Michael, of course. Kobe did stuff on the court, reverse dunks under the basket that I just blew my mind. The sheer dominance and power of Shaq. I have a photo of Shaq like with 5 guys hanging on him, and he's dunking. It just it's unstoppable. and then, you get the fans are part of the story. I remember being up in Toronto when you guys won the championship, and um, the fans were such a part of that story because they not only won for the city, they won for the country, and it was a beautiful moment. It was almost like watching an Olympic competition, which I've been very lucky to be around, where the Team USA or whoever's representing that country wins a gold medal, and it's in the home country. It's unbelievable. Um, but yeah, there's been look, Robert Ory, Big Shot Bob talks about the great shots he made, but he also is humble enough to talk about the shots he missed. And I think to be great, you have to be able to accept that there's failure. That I always hope that it wasn't operator failure. It wasn't me. The equipment could fail, a referee can get in the way, guy's arms in the way. But I always wanted to be in the right position, focused, in a couple of different mentally and actually physically focused, and composing the photo, because I never wanted to be distracted. I never wanted to leave a game and say, "Oh man, I shouldn't have been talking to that guy because I missed that incredible moment." And that's what I prided myself on that my whole career. And I got that from watching these guys play since I started. And Kobe was the epitome of that.
I honestly could listen to you again, talk all day. Everyone should go listen to and watch your podcast. Phenomenal guests. They can hear more of your stories. But I'm just curious, which
Mhm.
athlete through your career was one of the more, biggest pranksters when it came to either trying to take your camera or kind of ham it up for the camera?
Shaq had to be number one. He just from day one, this guy was. I mean, he just loved life and still does. But as a player, um, he took a lot of knocks because people didn't think he took the game seriously. He took the game very seriously. Once that ball went up, those 48 minutes, it was a different guy. But if you saw him in the locker room and the things he did, he once ace bandaged the equipment guy in Orlando. Literally got rolls of ace bandage and rolled it up on this poor guy, and all the teammates were in on it, and they threw the guy in the shower and left to go play the game. I mean, this is just him, uh, and I've seen it a million times. And he kept everybody light, but when it was time for battle, especially when he teamed up with Kobe, I mean, stay out of their way, because all bets were off at that point. All joking, and it was pure business. But I love being around him since his rookie year. We had so much fun. We traveled internationally. I mean, imagine walking down the streets of Tokyo with Shaq, with just one bodyguard, and the amount of people who come up to him, and how he was just hilarious, and he loved it. He's picking up children. He's had so much fun, and he's loving life. And a lot of that rubbed off on me because I tend to be too serious and too obsessed. And he once, I remember we were in somewhere in London or something. He said, "Come on, man, lighten up. This is fun." So it's true.
Oh, you are the best. Thank you again for joining us so early in LA. We appreciate you, the work that you've done and continue to do. Again, love the pod, but thank you for joining us so early.
Thank you, and enjoy the weather, first of all, but enjoy the weekend. It's going to be a great weekend, All-Star weekend in LA, and I hope I get to see you guys again, maybe up in Toronto. Let's make that happen.
We're going to make it
Let's do it.
happen. Looking forward to it, buddy. Thank you so much,
Great.
Andy.
Thanks,
you,
Andy.
guys. Okay.
Absolute legend. I laugh 'cause, like,
So good.
I would never ask somebody that question. I feel so bad. I would never ask them a shot that they missed, but just it's crazy to think of the athletes that some of us view as the greatest of all time having his photo on their wall, or
Mhm.
it's on like giant billboards. And I know at the Forum Center in crypto.com or whatever the heck the other one's called, and where the Clippers play, there's just so many moments and also some concert photos that he has captured there in those moments, and he's able to just get that energy is just a superb skill. Something I don't have right now because I clearly no sleep, Lindsay, but you know what time it is? We're looking for your skill when it comes to the pro line. Look ahead, Dan. Because the new Proline app is here. If you think you knew Proline, well, think again. It's not the old Proline because they have a new badass app. Betting online with Proline Plus and betting in store with Proline are both easier than ever with the new app. It has more sports, more leagues, and more markets than ever. And there's more ways to get same game parlays from your favorite sports. Dan, we're needing a clean sweep from you this week. What do you got?
Yeah, it's been a perfect week so far, and we're trying to keep that going as it would be the first perfect week in Off the Roster history. So we're sticking with maybe a little bit of a chalk play, but Connor McDavid, yes, Davo had 14 scoring chances yesterday, did not score a goal for Canada, so he had just the 3 assists. I think today he gets on the board as Canada takes on Switzerland in the Milan games. So let's go with Connor McDavid scoring a goal for Team Canada today.
Are you a superstitious person?
I am. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. No, sorry. I didn't mean to quote Michael Scott there, but it just felt appropriate.
You absolutely did. You missed it.
Linz, I'm Italian. Everything about me is superstitious, okay? You give me a side eye, I'm like, you've given me the Malocchio. Now I'm screwed. I get a headache or my ears are red. I'm like, somebody gave me the Malocchio. Anyways.
Why would you put on social media the record you have with the picks this week is what I'm getting at. I'm not even letting you finish that. What the
I had people messaging being like, it's a perfect week. It's been a perfect week. You've been perfect since the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. This is new territory for Off the Roster. So just trying to help people out, It's bad times in the economy. Who could use a few extra shekels? Jump on the hot hand.
Well,
it's not going to last forever.
If somebody has a few extra dollar bills, maybe they'll buy J. Cole's CD. Do you want to discuss this moment that you shared with us in our group chat?
I was kind of like floored by this. I'm a big J. Cole guy, but he's taken things to a new level, right? He had a new album come out, and today's kind of the day where we just are used to throwing things on Spotify or wherever you're streaming your music from, and that's where you listen. You don't buy an album anymore, but J. Cole's out here selling CDs out of the back of his trunk for $1 to people, and I think it's amazing. But at the same time, I was like, do people even know what a CD player is anymore? Like, people are going to grab this and be like, what do I do with this? Do you even have a CD player in your car? I think I do. It might be like hidden in the glove compartment or something, but like, where would you even listen to a CD these days? This is not 2026. This is not 2006. It's 2026. So, I don't know where you would listen. Yeah. They don't know what a CD Walkman is.
Yeah, a CD Walkman. But what is old is cool again. I never had a Walkman, and it's one thing in life that I wish I had was a yellow one that was like waterproof, shockproof, all that other stuff.
Super cool.
And you would get the CD Walkman, and then it'd say it'd have no skip, but it'd still skip all the time.
All the time.
Man, those were the days. But what was the last CD that you bought? Or maybe first?
Okay, last CD I bought, I know for sure, it was PJ20. Like, I haven't bought a CD in a long time, but Pearl Jam had their 20th anniversary thing, and I bought the PJ20 album. You can see it on my background there somewhere, but it is definitely the last CD that I purchased because I am, much like everybody else, just conscious of space and just full digital now. And I don't buy records either. I'm not like you, Linz. So I'm not a good person when it comes to the music industry, I guess.
Oh, you are a terrible person. No, I'm kidding. I definitely have a CD player, an old school record player. And then I have a CD player that also plays cassettes, which I refuse to buy a cassette. I hate that had a comeback a couple years ago. Someone spent over $1,000 for Bare Naked Ladies yellow tape, which I can't remember if it was like a remix or one of their first things. I'm just like, that's stupid. But if you have money to buy dumb things, you do you. First CD I ever got, I remember going into the store with my family. Wynonna Judd, self-titled album called Wynonna. And it was a store that whenever you would buy the record or whatever, or tape,
they would switch the track in the store to whatever the artist you just bought. And I remember leaving to her song No One Else on Earth, which is the only Wynonna Judd song I know. And I don't know if I actually ever fully listened to that cassette after I got it, but interesting. We'll see.
I do think that Wynonna Judd was not on my bingo card, but it's not surprising from Lindsay that she would have somebody off the board for this conversation. I don't know if it was the first CD I had, but I do remember wanting the Limp Bizkit like Nookie album, and my sister bought it for me at the time, and then somebody told her like, "Oh, you bought this for your brother? It's awful. Do you know the words they say on this thing?" And immediately didn't even get to take it out of the wrapper. It went back to HMV or wherever it was purchased from. And I found another way to get the Limp Bizkit album back then.
So proud of you in this moment. Maybe we'll hear you sing You Did It All for the Nookie at one point during Off the Roster. Who knows? We've heard you sing Pearl Jam, Mambo Number 5, Creed. The list will go on and on. I'm here for it, but I'm also here for everyone who joined us in the chat underneath YouTube, the Nation Network. Make sure to like and subscribe. And on Monday, we will be hearing from your Toronto Raptors all-star crew, some former Raptors, and fingers crossed, my goal this weekend is to get Glorilla. If that does not happen, I don't even know what the bet could be, but I'll let you guys discuss it in the chat. But that is the vibes that I'm bringing into Monday. We'll have more guests and great insight about the Winter Olympics starting on Monday, so make sure to tune in then. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more Off the Roster content, make sure to like and hype this video and subscribe to the Nation Network YouTube channel.